As you might know or might not know, I am one of 6. Okay, let me say it one more time. I am one of 6 African American female colonels in the Marine Corps to date on active duty. My counterparts, that's Colonel Tamara Campbell, Colonel Paula Marshall, Colonel Melissa Chestnut, Colonel Marshall Lee Clark, and then our final colonel, Colonel Melanie Bell Carter. So that is the 6 African American female colonels in the Marine Corps. So I do this interview with honor and pride on behalf of them, but on behalf of all my sisters in the Marine Corps for this Women's History Month. In late 2006, early 2007, when I was informed that I would be taking over as the first African American 0402 company commander within 3rd Marine Division, I had to interview for the job. The division runs just a little bit differently than the other operational commands that I've been with. While I was super excited, I was super nervous because it was one of those jobs that I knew I had to get right. I had to get it right because of not only who I am and my own personal beliefs and preferences, but I'm setting a precedence for anybody coming behind me. So I've got to get this right.
Kind of the same in mind, and we talked about this. Exactly.
It was outstanding. It was probably by far one of the best experiences I've had in command. 05 Command, of course, being second. I commanded down at Marine Detachment Fort Lee, and that was such a diverse opportunity because we were the only Marines on an Army base, and it's a speech that goes along with that.
Sit up straight and look at me. My name is Sergeant.
Your senior drill instructor speech they gave to you. And I think that always resonates in my mind, more so when you're in command, because these Marines are entrusted to my care. These are somebody's sons and daughters that I have been selected to lead. And I have to make sure that I get it right, not only for the mission of the institution, but because someone's mom and dads have entrusted them to my care. I have to make sure that they are taken care of, whether that's being firm and fair, or whether that's maybe in a nurturing role. And what does that look like for this command that I am about to lead as the commanding officer? So I think if anything, when that guidon was being passed to me, that's probably what I was thinking about, is I am now responsible. I am responsible for everything they do or fail to do. That doesn't come back on them. I have to hold them accountable, but I am now responsible. I think one of the most proudest moments that I had in the Marine Corps is when I was a drill instructor, watching my first platoon graduate. And those Marines going in the fleet had, you know, at the time I had a different last name, but they had Sergeant Ivy's thumbprint all over them. And so that's one of my proudest. And I say that because I just retired a master gunnery sergeant who was my recruit. And that felt good. I grew up in Chicago, Illinois, on the South Side. I had a traditional family unit, mom, dad, older sisters. I didn't grow up in a project, but I didn't grow up far from it. Things are much different now in my neighborhood, but a lot of those life lessons that I received, whether they would knock us upside the head, or just watching the local drug dealers do what they do, knowing that I don't want to be associated with that. At the time when I grew up, a lot of kids would get jumped on the bus. So understanding how to get around that type of adversity and not having gone to jail, not having gotten on drugs, not being influenced by those things that they're doing, meaning I can actually kind of divert myself over here. I would say it helped tremendously. It's also helped me with sometimes when I get a troubled Marine, understanding where they came from, if they came from that type of environment, or flip that on its head. when I get a Marine that hasn't even seen that, and they're in a platoon of Marines, that's what they're trying to emulate.
I didn't go to school, and I decided to become a single parent.
When I look in the mirror, I see someone who has grown over my career, my 38 years in the Marine Corps, from a private that didn't have any idea what the Marine Corps is about to a mature, wise colonel who was ready to give everything I have back to Marines, sailors, soldiers, anyone in the military and civilian alike, my experience and what I learned so that they don't have missteps, so it sets them up for success. I see someone that is still growing. I see someone that's still learning. I see someone that can learn from all of you. So when I look in the mirror, I see this child that came in who's matured, but I also revert back to say, I see this person that's not done giving, not done learning. Aperture is still open to getting what I can get from the youth, from this generation. That's what I see.